Whoa, it is Power Shift Your Week time. I know I'm about a half an hour difference from when I usually come on. Actually, I'm going to start doing these at either 12 or 3 o'clock. I have to start shifting up. I have to start power shifting. But I'm going to start doing them at 12. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to do the power talks at around 12 o'clock. Bear with me. I'm trying to be like everybody else and be agile. So I'm going to park my car somewhere or find another place in the location I'm going, an office, so I can make sure I do the broadcast and we're not interrupted with bad reception. But welcome everybody to Power Shift Your Week. Hope you had a really great weekend. I'm going to bring on somebody to talk to today. I think we could all learn from. But I'm also going to be bringing on one or two of you with any kind of questions you have, so that we can get into it, and I can either learn from you, you learn from me. Hopefully, both of those things are going to happen, and everybody's going to learn from us. You're going to tell me something, ways that you're power shifting and you're solving problems and things of that nature, or ask me any kind of questions you have. I know you've seen all my posts on the Girl Scouts. They're vicious. They're vicious. I tell you, they're vicious. I love the fact, and I think I put in the post, I'm not sure if I did, that the number one cookie in the world sells the entire year. That means there's no anticipation for the cookie. You can get it anywhere you want. They do a whole lot of collaborations with other ice cream shops and things like that, and that cookie is called Oreo. But these little Girl Scouts, they come out with that cookie probably once every 3, or just for 3 months, maybe even 4 months, I'm not sure. And they sell $800 million worth of cookies. Think about that, $800 million worth of cookies. You are doing almost half the amount of the competitor, but you're only out 20 to 25% of the time. And you build up this anticipation. You have the greatest salespeople on the front line, and you've built a name for yourself where nobody else is, taking your place. Anyway, that's amazing. I think we could all learn from that. But all right, let me get into my notes here, because I kind of write things down, so I don't want to get off course. Let me see who's out here right now. Self-Esteem Express. What's up, Self-Esteem Express? Thank you, Supergirl 771. It is a nice background. I do appreciate it, all right, so let's see here. All right, so Power Shift Your Week. So you know why I start Power Shift Your Week. It's just to give you a kickoff to the week and hopefully get you going. We got 5 days ahead of us of the week, and for some of us, we have 7 days. I mean, I found that yesterday I was busier than ever before. Before I get into my Did You Know segment, I want to tell you something. I was online yesterday, and you know what I've been researching a lot. I love to buy. I love auctions and stuff like that, and I was having this roller coaster of emotions yesterday as I was looking at auctions. I go into auctions, and sometimes I buy things that none of you would ever want, because I obviously have a lot of places to put it, and sometimes I just see things, and I saw like massive amount of gym equipment was out there in auctions, like brand new gym equipment, and then I saw how many like freezers and kitchens and cooking stuff, like brand new stuff, was out. And it was great because I said, well, first of all, I don't need a lot of this shit. I have enough stuff, and I barely am going to the gym like I should. I'm going to start right now. But I also was so saddened by that, because it was all those people were losing businesses. They were losing their restaurants. They were losing their gyms. They were losing their spas. They were losing their nail salons. They were losing their homes, and it just was such a hard, bad feeling that I just didn't want to buy the stuff anymore, because I just felt like I was taking somebody's dream and taking advantage of it. Now, where can we learn from that? Well, I think that many of you can, if you're going through a tough time, right, you can, if you have to stay home, you can buy some of the equipment and things you need for your home, so you don't go and get gouged on certain Amazons and all those things of the world, right? Where other people could be, third-party sellers. Maybe if you are starting a new business, you can utilize some of the other stuff that was used, like say the back kitchen stuff, and start your business at a lower lower entry level. Maybe you can buy some of the stuff and package it in the good ways to sell to others that are needing it, and you can use it and be able to put a couple extra dollars in your pocket, right? So anyway, it's just crazy, all that type of stuff. So let me hide this. Let me hide the comment from the dude who just said something crazy to me. I mean, I don't mind what he says to me. I just don't want him to, or her to, take away from what we're saying right now. All right. So here we go. All right. Let me give you the segment of the Did You Know? So a study conducted by Freelance Union, which has about 450,000 members, and Upwork, which is a digital platform for freelancers, 35% of U.S. workforce in 2019, we're talking about last year, was, why is my camera okay? 2019 was made up of freelancers. All right, 2019, 35% of the workforce was made up of freelancers. All right, so well, Daymond, why are you telling me that? No kidding, freelancers exist, and freelancers can sometimes be, people who come and do a painting job or whatever. No, but freelancers can be people that are doing editing, people that are freelancing and helping you as your digital or virtual secretary. They could be your bookkeeper. They could be the person who's putting together your new business proposal. That's who freelancers could be. They could be you, somebody who is amazing with numbers and or have financial intelligence, even though you're doing it for one company. But on the part-time, you could be doing it for somebody else, because somebody else needs a CFO, somebody else needs an accountant, somebody else needs a designer, graphics, and and the beautiful part about that is, as you take on freelancers, of course, when you take on freelancers, you don't pay for all the taxes and all the other things. That is their stuff, that is their reasoning. But also, and I know a lot of times I'm telling you stuff, and some people are like, listen, man, I know this already. Tell me something new. But a lot of people don't know, or they don't remember these things, right? Think about it like this. If you are worried about getting price gouged in the market, and one person like, well, I'll build your site for you, or I'll help you optimize your social media. If there is an abundance of freelancers, because if 35% in 2019 were freelancers, then I would say the number has gone up to 55 or 60% of affordable freelancers out there. You can then go and price shop instead of getting gouged. Prior to this, what I found is that the people that have the most challenges out there when they're starting a business or growing their business is the ones who listen to one party only. Hey, you know what? You should use Tom or Sarah. It's about $5,000 for public relations. And they don't go, well, let me check how many other public relation people are out there. The biggest thing that entrepreneurs do is that they ask questions. They ask questions. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to make it a little personal. Last night, my wife said to me where we were talking about an area of business that she is extremely knowledgeable about. She grew up in the business. She said, in this area, see, that's the problem about living in the country. Damn bees. No, wasps. Save the bees. Save the bees. She said, in this area, you should just listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. And if I say it, you should listen to me. And I, honestly, most of the time, I do listen to my wife because she does know what she's talking about. And I, it's not that I didn't want to listen to her, but I had to explain to my wife, I'm not built like that. The way I'm built is the only way I got here to being who I am. The way I got here to being who I am is question those who know what they're talking about. Because when I was told you can't make a shirt like that, or you can't sell like that, or you can't start a business without having money, or you can't do that and you can't do that, a lot of those people thought they knew what they were talking about, and they could have known what they were talking about because maybe they failed doing it. But the God-given right in this country is the ability to be able to ask a question. We were never penalized, and that's what makes America so great. We were never penalized by being in the first and second grade, and the teacher says something, and you ask a question. She says, don't ask the question. Or he says, don't ask the question. So the bottom line is you always have to ask a question. Now, was my wife right? Yes, she was. However, I wanted to hear what she had to say, and I had to be able to give her my insight on, well, can you explain this? Can you explain that? Can you explain this? And then I went and checked with two other people, and then I came back and said, okay, let's do it. You're right. There's no problem. That's also another aspect of being an entrepreneur. You can, I didn't say I was right. I just asked her if she was right. So I wasn't saying that I'm wrong, but you should also not feel like you have to be the person who is the know-it-all, because if you know it all, then what the hell is else there for you to learn? And if the people around you are talking to you and they know it all, like when I was in the hood, I used to say, well, you so goddamn smart, why you on welfare, homie? So how am I getting back to the part about freelancers? The beautiful way that you use freelancers to your ability is to make sure that you go out there and you find other people doing similar things, and then you get to understand the margin of where the work costs, what time should that work be done on, and you need to ask as many people as you can, because then you'll start understanding what is the level of quality, because you'll get people that'll tell you something is $19.99, and then some people will tell you that it's $100. But if you get to ask enough people, then you'll start to understand, what, you get quality work at $50, you get fast but cheap work at $19.99, and you get expert but long period, it takes a long time, at $100, and then you figure that out. Or you can be a freelancer right now. Every single one of you has a skill, or 2 or 3 or 4, or every single one of you know how to grab 2 or 3 or 4 people with a specific skill, and you can make money off of doing that. All right, so there you go on my points about that, and let me go over that, because that is my challenge of the week. My challenge of the week now is, why don't you write down, what you could do and translate as a freelancer. Write down your skills. Write down where you're great at, and where you are gifted at. Don't have anybody else look at that, because somebody else may look at it and tell you, nah, you're not good at that. Screw them. Write down what you're good at. Write down what you love, right? And then try to, as you think about it, if you put it on your goals over this next 2 months, 6 months, or a year, start to think about that. Now, you may be good at that at a company, and that's probably not even hard for you to write that down, right? You may say, yeah, well, this is what I do, right? But what are the other skills that you have that add to that freelance skill? Because if you're in a company and you do this and you only do it a certain way because you have seniors or other people around who only ask it this way, but you've always wanted to do it this way, well, you have 2 specific skills. You have a skill of the trade, and you have a skill of the vision where the trade should go. And so write those down, and then you should make sure that you dig into that and start thinking about, as you're drawing this board, of who you want to be and where you can add value and where you can make money, and or if you're an employer, where you can hire, because you cannot afford. Oh, got a wasp around here. That's not a bee, and when they bite, it hurts. All right. If it ain't chickens, it's wasps around here. All right. That's my challenge of the week. All right, so now I'm going to bring on somebody who is going to be what I call a small business hero. Now, I'm going to read off her information to you. All right. So her name is Kurlansta. We call her Lexi because her company is Kurlansta's. And now Lexi's only 14 years old and is using her platform, Kurlanistas, to teach girls self-love and confidence. Maybe she could teach me how to read when she gets on here too. She founded and is the CEO of Kurlanistas, which is a hair product company designed for girls with curly hair. Well, she knows how to brand. Lexi is an author, an entrepreneur, and has been featured on Good Morning Washington, Black Enterprise, and Essence Magazine. Partner with Verizon to promote. Remember, I told you she's 14. Okay. Let me go back to that. Partners with Verizon to promote youth careers in STEM and entrepreneurship. Mentors girls through Girl Scouts of America. Girl Scouts again! I'm telling you, they got it out for me. And launched the Kurlanistas B-O with $signs after that network youth entrepreneurial program. All right, let's go. I'm just thinking she's going to sell me cookies. And I'm probably going to buy them overpriced. All right, we're waiting for Lexi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
So I said it right the 4th time, probably. Kurlanistas?
Curlinista is like a fashionista, but curlinista.
All right. Well, you don't let me spell that. I would have started that with a K. Thank God it was even written down. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. Those are some beautiful. Those are braces you got in there, right?
Yes.
All right. Are braces cool these days?
I guess so. I guess that's like the new style.
All right. Oh, I see somebody. Since you're wearing pink, I'm seeing a very very inspiring woman, Cindy Pink CEO. You got to follow her. So. All right. Let's talk about everything. So you're a Girl Scout now, still?
Of course, with COVID and everything, no, but I do Girl Scouts. I love doing Girl Scouts and just going out and getting to talk to people, all that good stuff. And Girl Scouts is such a great thing to be in because you get to meet so many great people and there's so many great benefits for being a Girl Scout as well.
That is really great. Now, how many times did you when you were in the Girl Scouts and active, super active? How many times do you go out and sell the cookies? Does all the Girl Scouts sell the cookies? And did you
Um,
go out with your parent, or did you go out with other Girl Scouts or your siblings, if you have
Yeah,
any?
so I went out. So basically, it was a group of us, and then we would go out to different like stores or different places and just have like a little table and sell our Girl Scout cookies like in front of Safeway or Costco or something like that. And it'll be like three or four of us just going out selling the cookies. And I was doing Girl Scouts since I was in I want to say fifth grade. Yeah, since I was in the fifth grade. So I've been
How
doing it
much?
for a while now.
What was the average amount of money would you rake in a day from Girl Scout cookies? Or how
It
many boxes would you sell? Because the boxes average out $4, right?
mhm.
But how many boxes would you sell?
It depends on where you are or like what day it is as well. Because sometimes it can be really good, sometimes it can be really slow. So it honestly just depends. But honestly, we would sell about 30 boxes. It would be really good.
30 boxes a day?
hmm
That's about $120. How many days would you go out a week?
We would go out probably like 2 or 3 times a week.
So 2 or 3 times a week, 120. Let's do a blended margin at 75. That's 3 times 75. That's 225 a week. 225 a week times four would be $500. $500 a month times 4 months. That'd be $2,000. How many Girl Scouts are in the Girl Scouts? Do you know?
I want to say it was probably 15 of us.
Oh, in your squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't you think it's wrong for just taking our money like that? Because did you talk to us when they walked by, or did you just sit there, with your braces and your pink, and just sit there in the corner, and then people would come out? Do you notice they come out? They just walk over you and say, "Hey, girls, what are you doing?"
Um, I am an outgoing person. I love to go up to people and talk to them. So I will go up to people, but usually people see Girl Scout cookies and they come running to the table. So it could go both ways.
All right, all right. Well, I'm glad that you're doing that. And did it teach you at all? Selling and being able to converse with people, because now I want to talk about curlinistas, and
Yes.
I want to know, where did you get that that's that love and that self-confidence of yourself to go out and want to teach that to other girls? And tell me about curlinistas right now.
Yes. So Girl Scouts has definitely did help me with going out and getting to talk to people because I go to beauty shows a lot, like Bronner Brothers or Ubiquitous. I don't know if you've heard that before, like hair
Of
shows like
course,
that.
in Atlanta.
Yeah. So I started my business at the age of 12 with my first book, Curly Girls Love Your Curls. And the reason why I wrote
What
this
is
book,
it? No, go hold that up right in my face. Curly girls
Love Your Curls.
love your curls. All right, I
And this
need
is what
that.
it
My
looks like.
daughter has very curly hair. Okay.
And it's a coloring book as well, so people can make the characters themselves. So nobody feels discriminated. So anybody can make the character themselves. So I wrote this book because when I was younger, I used to get bullied and I really didn't like my hair at all. And it didn't help. I didn't really see anybody on TV that looked like me. So as I was going through the journey of learning to love my hair, learning to love myself, I was trying to find books, movies, TV shows, teaching girls all about self-love and how to love yourself and just, having that self-confidence. And I couldn't find anything. So I just wanted to create something because I noticed this is an ongoing problem and a lot of other girls go through this as well. So I really just wanted to create something for the youth, by the youth. And I know, like,
Little FUBU
especially
in there, yeah.
today,
Uh-huh.
I know, especially today, it can be hard because we have social media and, we're just constantly looking at other people and we can start to compare ourselves. So having self-confidence and that self-love right now is very important. I also have another book called The Ice Cream Talk, Loving the Skin You're In, which talks about how I learned to love my skin that I'm in. And both of my books are on my website and on Amazon. So I have
So
my...
hold on. So I want you right now. I'm going to, because I didn't. Let me pin myself with this comment first. I'm going to pin because I didn't do that, and then I want to pin your website. 1 second, because people need to know where to get this book, and I want you and your family to make sure that tell my team that I want to purchase a bunch of those books myself.
Thank you.
And I want to highlight you also on the FUBU website because, of course, you're helping people be proud of them, whoever they are.
Thank you.
Okay, so I can't pin myself. Oh, there it goes. All right, so what is your website? Tell me your website right now.
So my website is Curlinistas. It is CURLANISTA.
1 second. www.
It's the same thing as my username as well.
Okay, but tell it to me again. You know what? Because
Yeah.
I messed it up already. I got it right. CURL. If you have a book for adults who are dyslexic, make that send me a dozen of those as well because I cannot read to save my life. All right, curlinistas.com.
Yes, curlinistas.com. That is CURLANISTAS. Curlinistas.
Got it. All right. Let me pin that one. Boom. All right, cool. So and I can understand. I have a daughter. She happened to be 4 years old, and I went through this with my other daughters. They always, she said just 2 nights ago, "Mommy, can you straighten my hair?" And we were like, "Why? It's so beautiful." And we didn't want to mess up the curls. Yeah. And then sometimes she loves the color of her skin. Sometimes she says, "Well, Mommy, I want to be like you," or "Daddy, I want to be because I'm a little darker than her." Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's just something that kids go by because they want to always aspire to be they love themselves. They may love themselves, but they may want to go aspire just to be somebody else. I may want, all right, it's nothing wrong with a kid, a boy or a girl saying, "I want to be a pilot," right? Mm-hmm. So maybe they don't have as many, they're not saying the socially right thing, but they just happen to love black eyes or brown eyes or blue eyes or curly hair, straight hair at the moment, and then tomorrow they like something else. Yeah. Or because you're much closer to it, or were you really bothered by it? And did you feel that social media or your friends were making it worse, making you feel worse at a point?
Honestly, I could say, like, growing up watching TV, I grew up like watching Hannah Montana and like Jessie and all this other stuff. And I didn't really see anybody that looked like me, and it didn't help. Like, people would say, "Move your bushy hair. I can't see the board," or "You look like somebody from the 80s. Your hair looks like a bushy tree." And, that made me feel not confident about myself. So I would like try to find every single way. And I understand what you're saying as well. Like, sometimes kids do want to be like other people. Like, I know growing up, I wanted to be Beyonce. But of course, it's always good to just have that self-confidence and know who you are at the end of the day. Because like I said, now we have social media and we're just constantly looking at other people, and sometimes we can start to compare ourselves. So as long as at the end of the day, you are beautiful no matter what, and you can do anything that you want. That's all that matters.
Very good. And I think that that's important because you see, when we opened up the conversation, I immediately said to you, wow, are those braces? You look great in those braces. Now, my generation, I don't want to share, I don't want to sound old, but many people will know this. You know, before there were the Mark Zuckerbergs and all of that in the world, when you had glasses, when you had a pencil pocket holder, when you had braces, you were a nerd.
Yeah.
Right? The nerds happen to be the richest people in the world right now, right?
Yeah.
Zuckerbergs and all that, right? But in our day and age, you know, we didn't have social media, so having braces, you were a nerd, especially if you lived in the hood. You didn't want to get into a fight if you had braces or glasses, because if you had glasses, it could damage your eye. You had braces, it would
Yeah.
bust your lips open. So all my life, I have really, really jagged teeth. I mean, I look like Snagglepuss. And my mother would always say, you need to get braces. And I just was like, no, I'm not going to get braces, man, because it's not cool. And she said, well, then you're going to look like that for the rest of your life. And I just dealt with it because the pressure was what it was. Now,
Yeah.
this is the only time I was able to get my mother back, because after I made money, I bought these beautiful babies right here. Aha, aha, good for her. She was wrong and I was right. But it was about at that time. I mean, they even made a movie, Revenge of the Nerds. You know, it was that all that type of stuff. So it shows that you have that level of comfortability. What would you say? Where did you get that from? What did your parents do, or who was around you? Because you got a lot of people who are parents and kids watching right now. What are the parents? Well, you like my mother. How even though she was wrong in that case, she was amazing in everything else she said. What did your parents do to help you feel that way, to feel proud about yourself?
Yes, just constantly letting me know that I can do whatever I put my mind to. Constantly letting me know, like, I am powerful. Like, speak things into existence. Like, letting me know that I'm beautiful, but at the same time, letting me know, like, I can't tell you that you're beautiful. She can't say that you're beautiful. You have to know you're beautiful yourself. Because anybody can tell you that you're pretty, but if you don't feel it yourself, then you won't have that confidence. So, my parents always have been saying positive things towards me, but it's up to you to actually believe it. So, that's what I would just say. Because, you can always just say positive stuff to people, but it's up to you to take that positivity in and believe it in yourself and
Now,
believe it.
and I'm going to let you ask me a couple of questions in a minute, but I got two more questions. I think I'm learning so much from you, or you're either reinforcing things I know. Again, going back to my age, you know, we had 10 friends or 7 friends or whatever the case is who was physically around us, right? There were not phones and all these other things.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people now who may be of your age, there's a lot of pressure out there because of social media. You don't technically have 50 and 100 and 200 and 1,000 friends. You
Yeah.
don't. But people have grown, kids are growing today believing that they're my friends. When a friend in my age or your parents' age would play baseball with you, they would go, over dinner,
Yeah.
and that's a friend, right? You slept in their
Hmm.
house, they slept in your house, whatever the case is. So it must be hard because bullying back then when I was younger, somebody had to punch you in the face or they had to, physically be in your face to do something.
Yeah.
Somebody right now can bully 200 other children in 1 hour by doing this. I hate you. You're ugly.
Right.
You're black. You're white. You're short. You're tall. We're going to beat you up. Da, 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 da.
Right.
They can easily do that and it can affect them. How do you tell the parents right now or the other kids that they're not your friends? Why are you saying that stuff? Because even when I was doing this, I have no idea. Somebody said something extremely negative, which I didn't care. But it was
Yeah.
easy for them to jump in and do that,
Right.
right? What do you say to those people?
Yes, so social media can be used in a great way and a negative way, but honestly, like you did earlier, just block those people because it doesn't matter if you're Beyonce, if you work, it doesn't matter who you are. There's always going to be those people on the internet in real life who are always going to have something negative to say about you. There's always going to be those people who don't want to see you win. And those are the people who are supposed to motivate you. You have to prove those people wrong. So, like I was saying, you're always going to have people that say rude things, but I would just say block them out. Um, Look, somebody just said something rude right there. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you just have to be confident in yourself and really just know who you are. Because people will always talk about you. People will always
Right.
say negative things about you. People always say negative things about me, but I don't let it get to me. And the reason I think the number one thing to having confidence definitely is just not listening to what people say. Because, like I said, people will always have their own opinions, and that's totally fine. But it's up to you to receive that, and it's up to you to, what am I trying to say? It's up to you to how is that going to affect you.
Now
So,
here's something that I always think about when I tell my older daughters when they were going through some of this challenge. I go, if you are happy with what you're doing, and people are saying things, they're brushing you off, they're saying negative things, they're creating campaigns against you, that means if you're happy with what you're doing something right. You're bothering them, you're irritating them. You may not be irritating them because you're trying to go after them, but you're irritating them because you are progressing and they're in a bad place in their life and they
right,
just want to be you. Or
right,
you wouldn't work with them or do something with them for whatever reason, or they just feel, there's a really old saying, blowing out somebody else's candle will never
yeah,
make yours shine brighter.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they just don't understand that. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
now let's get to a question. I have one last question, and then we'll get into if you have questions for me.
Okay.
So you're an author, and you've been featured on Good Morning Washington and Black Enterprise and Essence Magazine, and partnered with Verizon to promote careers in STEM and entrepreneurship, mentor girls to the Girl Scouts of America, and launch Colonista's Boss Network Youth Entrepreneurial Program. So it's more than just books you're talking about right now. And why are they? What do they highlight you on? Was it on the books or was it the program? And tell me about that. And now we know the essence of where it came from, why you're doing it. But tell me about how you're trying to promote STEM and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so I have my own hair care products, and basically I'm a YouTube fanatic and I love science so much, so I would make my own hair care products at home. So I did a lot of research on hair care products and different types of stuff, like what's really good for your hair or what's really bad for your hair. So I was like, you know what, this also is a really good tie with my book Curly Girls Love Your Curls, so I could teach girls how to love their hair, and now I can teach girls how to take care of their hair. So how I'm tying in STEM is basically I push it to people, like letting them know like science is really important, and math. Like you're gonna have to use math in the real world. So it's very important that you know that as well. So yeah, STEM really helped me a lot with my hair care products because I tested out some by myself, like trying to make my own at home. But eventually I went over to a manufacturer, and now manufacturer makes my hair care products. But knowing the basics of like what to mix with hair care products, like what goes good or like what can cause your hair to flake up or all that different types of stuff is really good to know. So while I'm on the topic of hair care products, let me tell you guys. So this is my number one seller. This is my Curlinista Detangler and slash leave-in conditioner, and this is really good with help getting those tangles out. And I made sure this was my first product because when I was younger, I absolutely hated getting my hair detangled because it hurt so bad, and this helps so well. I also have another product called my Curlinista Curl Cream, and guys, this product is so good. This really helps to moisturize and define your curls. This is what it looks like, and it smells just like bubble gum. And my last product that I have is my Curlinista Curl Custard, and this is like the setting spray of hair. This really helps to lock in those curls and make sure your curls pop all day. I have my hair curl. I have my Curlinista products in my hair right now, and this is what my hair looks like. And I also have YouTube videos on YouTube. My YouTube is Curlinistas as well, where I teach you guys how to use my hair care products as well. But yes, STEM really helps me a lot with knowing what types of ingredients in the hair care products are really good. Like shea butter have vitamin E, aloe vera, like different raw ingredients and different stuff. So yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So you're a great salesperson as well by explaining it and showing how it works. But more importantly, you didn't just go and package it. You're basically throughout that you learn through, and that's why you're trying to teach STEM and entrepreneurship, because you learn the aspects of what made it so good and probably what the things you didn't like,
Yeah,
right? Instead of trusting just somebody else to do it.
exactly.
All right. Well, that's what made Fubu so good because I failed, and then I finally came out with the right things that I felt that I can offer value to people, and that's what every entrepreneur does, or even anybody that works at a company. You know, you
Yeah.
get to the point where you fail enough, and then you figure it out, and you go, now here's where I can offer value. So, you have any questions for me?
Yes, I have 5 questions for you.
Okay.
So, my first question is, what do you look for when you're investing in a business? Like, really, what really makes you like, oh my gosh, I really need to invest in this business?
Well, prior to COVID, what you looked for was purely the person who's made a bunch of mistakes and they have found ways to figure it out, and they have a love and a passion for what they do, and they have busted their butt and fell a couple of times, and even with those couple of failures they've had, they've still wanted to move on with the journey. They
Yeah.
made mistakes. Some of them were big mistakes, but usually you want to find the people that made a bunch of small mistakes, because what happens is somebody made a big mistake. Listen, I did all this and this, and then the business collapsed, and I had all this money, um, and then the business collapsed. They may think, if they didn't learn the right way, that they need more money again, a lot of money.
Right.
You want to hear the ones that said, "Man, I made it this far with nothing. The business
Mm-hmm.
was problematic, and I made it far with nothing. And now, if I have access to capital, a decent amount, or a relationship, I can now grow it." That was prior to COVID, and of course, they had to have a good product, right?
Yes.
After COVID, it's all the same. However, you want to see how they either shifted during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because every problem prior to this could have been unique to yourself.
Right.
Now the problem is a global problem. There's
Mm-hmm.
nobody that can come up to you. Prior to COVID, somebody could come up to me and say, "Well, at that time I lost my job." Well, everybody in the country didn't lose their job, or the world.
Yeah.
Or at that time, something. Everybody can say now, either I was doing this good during prior to COVID, and now I'm doing great, or I was before my time, and now COVID, and now I'm starting to grow. The other ones were like, well, prior to COVID, I was trying to do this, trying to do this,
Yeah.
trying to do that, and then after COVID, I failed and I didn't figure it out. Well, you can't really talk to them yet because they haven't figured it out yet, right? You really
Right.
got to start talking to the ones who have figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
And now these other ones could say, prior to COVID, I totally failed. But when they start to figure it out, that they're figuring out the way of the new world order, and that's basically
Mm-hmm.
the way that you think about it. So basically, 90% of
Yeah.
what you're thinking about when I invested now or prior to COVID was somebody who busted their butt, made small mistakes, still have the passion for it. They're a great person. I love to talk to them. I love to work with them. And even if this business fails, we'll do another. The only
Right.
difference now after COVID is 10% of a change saying, how did you adjust during COVID? Because it was a global problem, and nobody in the world will ever say to you, and can't understand and go, well, why did you get hurt during COVID? They can't never say that because everybody in the world understands that.
Yeah. Okay. So my second question is, how do I become a millionaire before I graduate? So I am in 10th grade right now, and that just has been my goal. I've been saying, like, before I graduate, I am going to be a millionaire. So what are the steps building up to that? Should I invest in certain stuff? Should I just go through all of that through my business? Like, what should I do? What are the steps to building up to that?
All right. Well, so there's a bigger question. So first of all, the way to become a millionaire, but before that, is to how are you going to obtain the money? We don't know. But the bigger question is, what is a millionaire? How do you define a millionaire? Is it a person that, like you, who may end up having 10, 20, a million followers, that it's $1 million worth of an IP, that that they are people, those people are people that are buyers, and once you come up with the thing that you really have, you can sell to them?
Mm-hmm.
Is it that you have $1 million business? It doesn't mean that you're a millionaire. It means you're doing $1 million worth of business.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it that you have $1 million in the bank? That's the first question of what do you consider a millionaire?
I consider a millionaire somebody who has $1 million in the bank, because you can have 3 million followers and not that much in the bank account. So Well, it really goes to both as well because I really like what you said, you know, having those followers and like say if I come out with an edge control, everybody will buy the edge control or something like that. I also think that as well, having those people who will support you and followers and all that good stuff. But right now, I'm just talking about
$1 million
both.
in the bank. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Now I got another tough question for you.
yeah.
Why? Why do you want $1 million in the bank? And when you get $1 million in the bank, what would you do with it?
Continue to invest in myself and real estate and different other stuff because I really just want to be able to continue to expand my business. Like I started off with the book. I did not know it was going to turn into a hair care product. So who knows what my business can expand even more into. And I also want to really get into film and bring the pages of my books into real life because you know there's
So
not that really
if I gave you $1 million right now, what would you do with the $1 million? You just told me film.
invest in.
You told me film. You told me real estate. Right. You told me education. You still have this company. So you got $1 million right now.
Mhm.
What would you do with the $1 million? How would you
I
break
would
out that $1 million?
definitely, I would definitely invest in myself, and I have something coming out very soon.
Hold
I don't
on,
know.
but invest in yourself with what? How are you going to do that? Is that education? Is that going to an Ivy League school? Is that a bunch of books? Is it private tutors? Is it Daymond John, Grant Cardone, Gary V? Is it investing in travel around the world to know a little bit more about the world? What? Because remember, I want to find out. You got $1
Yeah.
million now. All right. What are you doing with the $1 million? We got $1 million right now. How much is that invest in education going to cost you?
So I don't know how much education and all that will go about, but definitely I want to start like I'm going to do research on how much it costs like for a film production and all that good stuff. So I would definitely do research. I don't know the numbers of all that, but definitely putting my money into there. I'm definitely starting a Kickstarter off with I'm definitely starting off with the Kickstarter as well, because I'm gonna
So
turn.
I'm going to give you the biggest key to what you're asking. Your assets are what feeds you, and your liabilities are what eats you. There's a great game that
Yeah,
the guy Rich Dad Poor Dad has. It's called the Rat Race, right? So if you took the $1 million, now what are an asset? An asset is what feeds you. That means that if you took the $1 million before you do all the other things,
right.
you get the education you want in whatever way because you're educating your mind and it'll always feed you. Try to get it as cheap as possible through certain curriculums and mentors and cases like that.
Yeah,
Film is not necessarily an asset. That is going to be a potential gamble, right?
yeah,
Because so now that can be a liability. So put in your first assets, meaning if you're going to invest in real estate and you know that's going to be creating income for you, then that may be less of a job that you have so you can spend
yeah,
more time educating yourself. So always all of the things that will feed you,
right.
right? Don't buy necessarily all these cars or anything
Yeah,
else. Not anything like if So buy things that will appreciate, because
yeah.
what you're going to do is pay or earn interest in life, right?
Hmm.
And there's an old saying: if you know about interest, you will earn it. If you don't know
Right.
about interest, you will pay it, right?
Mm.
So if you then, when you have your $1 million, here are the things that gain interest. This, your mind, like you're saying. And I love that was education. That will keep compounding and that will keep growing your network to keep educating yourself. Then,
Mm.
yes, you purchase, whether it's real estate or stocks or bonds or things that grow. You use those, get to understand those at first for a while, and then you think about
Hmm.
film and other thing. But you're using what we call the house's money after that, because the million, I want your million to grow in 5 years. Now you'll be 15. I want in 5 years that million to be 3.5. And now you can take 1.5 of that and spend on the potential liabilities that may
Hmm.
grow. And now you have 2 million and you've already educated yourself. You already have investment real estate that will keep working and keep growing. So even if you screw up the 1.5,
Hmm.
you got this working for you. So that's just the way to think about it. But I always want you to um, think about what an asset is and a liability. And I love the game, the board game we can all learn from. It's called The Rat Race by Robert Kiyosaki. All right, next one.
Okay. Um, how do I get my business out there? So I do post on social media a lot. I push out ads and different stuff, but I love what I do, but sometimes I can feel stuck. So what is a good marketing strategy to pushing my business out there?
You know, every marketing strategy you're currently doing, because the cheapest part of your business and the easiest to get out is your beautiful face and mind and your initiative. And what you want to do is try to create a network exactly what you're doing. So I'm not telling you anything new. You want to create a network of people who are going to talk about you when you're not in the room. You see, you can walk into the room, whether your room is on Zoom or anyplace else, and you can tell everybody you're great, and that's fine. But you want to be able to have a network of ambassadors like me, who's going to
Right.
tell everybody you're great when you're not in the room, right? Because everybody's going to, of course, hear you say you're great. But your brand is what people say when you are not in the room. So we call those affiliate marketers. You got to
Mhm.
keep doing that. And trust me, uh, let me see. If I just, you know, you have high expectations, which I actually want you to hire them. And that's what you're doing, and make them higher. But for somebody who is already featured on Good Morning Washington, Black Enterprise, Essence Magazine, and partner with Verizon, you're going to be unstoppable. The biggest problem with entrepreneurs like you and me and all of us are, you know, we want to take on the world. But the most important thing we got to do, and of course, at 14 years old, you're more focused than what I was at 21. But I still want you to be more focused on that, because the one thing that an entrepreneur does is they know they're going to take on the world one day, but today you got to do the best you can do today for yourself and for your customer. Tomorrow, the best you can do for your customer. Tomorrow, the next after that, because then you'll blink your eyes and you may not hit that $1 million mark at 15, but you're going to blink your eyes. Trust me, the way I see you, you're going to blink your eyes at 21, you're going to have 10 million, and your brand is going to be much bigger. But you got to put in as hard of work as you've
Yeah.
done and you're doing now. And that's evident by having 2 books and 3 product lines, three SKUs in your, or three different products, and having worked with all those people. Don't be impatient. You'll be so surprised how, when you look back at the 14-year-old self you are today and realize how much ambition you had. Um, I'm not saying, I'm not saying don't do it and don't think like that. Just understand, don't be impatient about it. Put in the same work, but be
Mhm.
very happy, more importantly, of where you come from. You know, when a lot of people look at mountains and they're climbing a mountain, they like to look at how far they have to go instead of turning around and saying how far they've come. All right.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's what I want you to do. Start looking at how far you come, and what that's going to do is energize you for how much further you're going to go.
Yes, I love that. Okay, next question is kind of a question piggyback off of what I just asked. So, what is a good market strategy when I'm such in a saturated market? Because you know there's a lot of other hair care products. So, how can I stand
You,
out?
you. Come up with 2 to 5 words that explain your brand, but you are the most important right now, because there's going to be a lot of people out there who have products and they're not young like you and energetic. You see, the buying customer, the most influential customer are females the age of 15 to 35, right? For
Mm-hmm.
basically consumer goods. Now, females the age of 25 to 50 are important for goods in the home, because they
Right.
dictate how the home is ran. But there's going to be a lot of people who are, you know, older than you, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but they've come out with a brand maybe for their daughters and everything else, and maybe their
Right.
daughter's like, "Thank you, mom and dad, I love this," but it's cool. You are the brand.
Yes.
You are the one. So that is your marketing strategy. You see what you're
Mm-hmm.
getting when you look at the Washington, Good Morning Washington, and Good Morning, and all those type of things. What you're getting is what we call earned media. Earned
Mm-hmm.
media is something you didn't buy. It is
Yeah.
something you didn't have to go and pay about $40,000 to $50,000. You would have had to spend that in hard cash to go out and buy placements in magazines and various other things, right? So
Yeah.
you need to push yourself as much as possible so you can get what they call earned media. And
Yeah.
so earned media, because now you can then look at your company and say, I don't have to worry about this amount in advertising marketing,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm getting what I call earned media. And that's the most important way to basically put your brand out. Now, if I was talking about somebody else, I wouldn't necessarily be giving them the same suggestion, but everybody on here is writing that you're adorable, or they want to buy your product, or a very smart girl, and they're going to tell somebody. Everybody, but I'm, it's the honest truth, right? Your
Yeah.
parents know it,
Yeah.
and they're going to tell that truth. And you want to be out there helping people. I've seen so many parents who are pushing their children out to do something their children don't want to do.
Yeah.
Dance moms and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I get it. Maybe those kids would have ended up, doing something that nobody wanted them to do. And instead
Yeah.
their parents are trying to give them that. But you want to do this. You're going to do this. That's the best way to grow the business.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, for my last question,
Last one.
how can I get you to be my mentor? I try to speak things into existence, so I'm going to do it right now. Mr. Daymond John is my mentor.
Yeah. That's an excellent question. Now, I have no problem slamming the door on a child at all. So don't think that you're going to pressure me at all there, little lady. Now, how many of my books have you read?
I don't know.
Raha. So you
That's
got to read
what.
you got to read my books. You got to be telling me as you go to any mentor. Because I'm going to start asking you questions on my books. What have you read? Why have you, and just like somebody coming over to you saying, hey, how can I get down with you? You're going to say, all right, well, what am I about? You read my books? They're going to be like,
Mhm.
no. What would you say to them?
How about you look more into me and then come back when you're done?
I love how you just answered your own question. You got it?
Yes, thank you.
All right. By the way, you probably do not need me as a mentor because obviously you're raised very well by some great people. I'm not sure if it's your parents or your surroundings, so you
Mhm.
do not need me, but read my books and then we'll talk about that. All right. Now, I have questions for you that I want to ask you because
Yes.
I'm a father and I'm an excellent dad joke teller.
Okay.
How many apples grow on a tree?
I don't know how many.
All of them. Okay. One second. Let's see. I like to let my following get into that. I want to know if your dad or mom tells you jokes like that. So, all right, what do you call a black man flying a plane?
I don't know.
A pilot. Oh yeah, that one always gets him. That one always gets him. In
A pilot.
quarantine, I've decided to take up fencing. This is one just a comment, okay? This is just a comment. In quarantine, I've decided to take up fencing. The neighbor said they're going to call the police if I don't put it back. Get it?
What does that even mean?
I'm taking up, instead of fencing, I'm taking up the fence. Fencing around the, no, no, no. you know, all right. I love having a conversation. What are you going to tell everybody right now who has kids or is a child trying to be an entrepreneur? And
Uh,
what do you got to tell everybody?
go after your dreams. It's never too late or too young to become an entrepreneur. If you have a dream, an idea, go after it. Like I said before, I started off with a book and I ended up with hair care products, and I'm just so excited to see what else my business flourished out into. So, yeah, just go after what you put your mind to. Always just think positive. And my number one thing is just have faith in God, because having faith in him, like, don't ever question anything that he does. And when another door closes, another bigger, better one opens. So just always continue to have faith in him, and just have faith in yourself, and just go after whatever you want. Thank
You're
you.
wise beyond your age. You're wise beyond your age. Do not let anybody steer you different. Keep finding people around you. You know what? God is good. God is great. You never know why he or she and I don't know if God is a man or a woman, but you never know why he or she makes
Yeah.
his decisions. But you know what? You got to live by them, and they're not necessarily on time, but they're always when you need them. So all the best. Thank you so much, and tell my team we're gonna highlight you on the FUBU, and I will buy some products from you, and as well, and make sure my team gives you the first step of mentorship, that I'm gonna give you Daymond on Demand if you don't have it. So it's 8 hours of a lot of business lessons, and it's really amazing, amazing stuff. All right, and then we'll be following you. Okay.
Thank you so much again, and we have to stay in touch. Thank you so much.
You're like you're great. You're like a 30-year-old professional here. All right. All right. Bye bye. All right. Absolutely a class act, and brought so much warmth to me, and I hope to you. Um, that girl's absolutely amazing, and I'm sure that she has really great family behind her. And sometimes I just hope that my youngest daughter could be just that brilliant. My other are already, and I'm happy. Thank you all for spending the time with me today. I learned a lot from her. Please, if you would like to hear other really great, amazing dad jokes that will make you roll your eyes and feel embarrassed for me, I know you're not laughing with me, you're laughing at me, but sometimes you're laughing with me, and I know you're using those jokes tonight on somebody. Send in your jokes to me, because I read those. Other people gave it to me. Send in your jokes to Daymond at daymondjohn.com. Also, remember your challenge. Please go out there and write down your assets and write how you can become a freelancer and add that extra work to yourself, or hire freelancers. If you want to be one of my freelancers in editing, in design, in manufacturing, in licensing, in um, web design, in Facebook acquisitions or other stuff, submit to me who you are at Daymond at daymondjohn.com for us to all check you out. And listen, I wish you all the best. I don't know if I can top that interview tomorrow. You never know who's going to really just give you that oomph and learn from and make you think. But her energy was so crazy, and I know we all appreciate it. All right, everybody, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the Power Talks. I don't know who I'm bringing on yet, but if not, I'll just be bringing you on right now. So get your questions and your answers and all that good stuff ready. I love you. Be good.